Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Brim Fishing Project. And here we are. We're off to a new location with the Hobie Fishing Series. This was round 7 and was held at WallagaLake on the south coast of New South Wales. The dates for this one, the 13th and 14th of September. So, as with any new locations, there was a little bit of excitement leading into this and good numbers given the way the season's played out. So, I'm going to roll the intros and I'm going to tell you what happened down there. Here we go.
Welcome to the Brim Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target brim on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite brim competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here is your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to set the scene a little bit. I went down. We had absolutely stunning weather in terms of being comfortable. It was September, relatively warm for September, and light winds. So in terms of being out in the water and fishing, it was almost perfect. As a whole, I don't know anyone that didn't stay at the Big Four, but most people were at the Big Four, and they looked after us tremendously. It was, I think, the best launch that I've ever been to in terms of a Hobie comp. We had a sandy beach with a nice drop off, so you didn't have to, drag your kayak out 100 meters. We were in a caravan park, so we had all sorts of accommodation there, whether it be cabins or tents or bring your vans or whatever. There was a food truck on the water, sort of 50 meters from the beach, which served up coffees from 5:30, I think, in the morning, coffees and bacon egg rolls and all that sort of stuff. So in terms of going to the comp, this was unreal. So I'm told this is going to be on next year's calendar. And as you'll hear, it was pretty tough conditions for the fishing, but it's definitely a good location you might want to bring your family down to, and they can spend the weekend. If you've got kids, they can sort of play and do their thing while you go off fishing, if that's what you want to do. But in terms of location, I really, really enjoyed it. And there were some cracking fish caught. One of the biggest bags we've seen, certainly in a New South Wales event, over 6 kilos for 6 fish in a Hobie event is pretty phenomenal. And what was trying conditions? I think the stories in this one, so good and well worth hanging around with. 3 different stories. Chris, Jamie, and Jason all did slightly different things to give them the results that they got. So what I might do is I'll jump into the details for this one, and then we'll go about hearing what the guys had to say. All right. So on the Saturday, the 13th of September, we had 28 in the fish activity wheel. A minor bite period at 8:13 through to 9:43. Low tide was at 5:54 at 0.4. High tide was at 12:27 at 1.47. On the Sunday, the fish activity went down to a very low 13 with a minor bite period at 9:03 through to 10:33. Low tide was at 6:49 a.m. and high tide was at 1:30 p.m. at 1.43. In terms of the divisions for this one, this was a very interesting thing too. On the Saturday, 55 donuts. So that meant we had the biggest running for monster mover that you've ever seen. And I'm frightened to tell you who won it. I'm going to come back to that. For the Anaconda Big Brimmer was Jason Marshall at 1.33. The monster mover, I'm not telling you yet. The young angler was Ethan Howard, come up from Tasmania, caught 2 fish on the Sunday, I think. Yeah, definitely on the Sunday at 870 grams to take out the youth. And the Masters was taken out by Hurricanes Peter Nord with his 4 fish for 2.16. All right. And then I hate to say it, but the monster mover was none other than Carl Dubois at 1.57. And the reason I hate to say it is because he beat me. So, all right. So that takes care of all of the division winners and what have you. What I did like about this round before we moved off, I think there was 15 Masters. What a great division that was. So anyway, let's run into the angler interviews. Here we go with Chris Byrne. Okay, so coming in third place, we have an angler dropping 2 fish on the Saturday for 1.01 kilos. Backing it up on the Sunday with 3 fish for 2.47, giving him a total of 5 fish for 3.48 kilos. And third place, with me, I have Chris Byrne. Welcome to the show, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, good to be finally on it.
Mate, it's a good one to be on in terms of this was a tough round. A lot of people really struggled and you ended up the pointy end. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, it shocked me. I thought a lot more people would catch a lot more fish, especially on that second day after it sort of stabilised and the weather got good. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights. The weather was kind of stunning. But the other thing that surprised me, if you noticed the bags, and yours included, there was a lot of good fish. Like there was a lot of fish, 800-900 a kilo sort of thing caught.
There were a lot of big fish coming in, but just not many. And I think a lot of the guys had to wade through a lot of flathead to get those fish or to find them. So, yeah, it was interesting. I fished up the creek and, yeah, there were a lot of flathead up there as well. They were everywhere.
Very good, very good. All right. Leading into this comp, did you do any sort of pre-fish coming in or preparation? What did you get up to?
Oh, look, I did the usual thing, sort of poured over the maps and just sort of familiarised myself with what was there. I was a bit lucky and my dad went down a few weeks before to just have a look around and get into it. He's getting into it a lot now. And he told me a couple of things about it and he found some fish there and things like that. And so I was like, okay, then. But he didn't go and pre-fish where I said, go and have a look. So my pre-fish consisted of going and having a look. And that's where I found some fish. And as we all found out that first day, where everyone came back on the pre-fish and went, wow, okay, this is going to be a tough weekend, a real tough weekend. I think I passed you on the water and you'd had a hard time yourself. So, yeah.
A very hard time. Yeah. So basically, with regards to your dad, you basically said that he didn't go and fish where you asked him to.
Oh, no, he went and had a look at some other spots and then he didn't have much time.
Yeah, okay.
And he didn't have much time. Well, he had a bit of time, but he went to go and have a look there and then went, I think he hit the first shallow bit. When it's too shallow, I want to go and concentrate on what he knows and what he's comfortable with. So that using what he uses in the sort of deeper bits and that. And, and because he did find fish and he found a big fish. And so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was it, yeah. So I went down there and on pre-fish day.
Yeah, that's it.
I went and thought, well, let's go up and have a look. And so I went up there and had a look up the creek.
Okay.
Got lucky there.
Yeah, and you found a couple.
Well, I found one, low 30s.
Yeah, okay.
And then saw a couple. And I bumped into Paul Hardiman, who was up there as well. And he had mentioned that he caught one. So I thought, well, there's not a lot of real estate up there. So if I power at the start and get up there first, then at least I get the pick of things. And so I came out of the pre-fish. I went around. So pre-fish day consisted of going up there, bumping into St. Paul, coming out of there after finding those fish. I went around and had a look. That's where I bumped into you up that other arm. Went around and had a look in the deep and then got back to camp. And then the stories that everyone's had, I thought, well, you know what? I've seen some fish. I've caught one fish. That's going to be what I'm going to have to go with because everyone else wasn't catching anything. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So comp day came the next day.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, so then comp day came around.
Yeah, okay. Tell us how you went.
Yeah, so comp day came around. I thought, look, I'm going to have to get started, get off the mark quick and just go because I thought there was going to be a lot of people going up there given that I'm not 100% familiar with black brim, but word on the street was this is the time of year where they start to push up to breed. So I thought there's a couple of river arms that people can't go up, non-fishable. This one creek place, well, look, the odds are that if something's up there, maybe they'll move in, maybe they'll move down. So from further up the creek. So I thought, well, I'll go up and have a go. And anyway, I got up there, got out the start, and that after that fun start where we all sort of headed towards the bank and flipped around and went back the other way, 100 miles an hour,
Yep.
Got in front. And then as I pushed up, I thought, oh, look, I might fish my way up. And then Paul ended up being Paul that was coming up behind me. I thought, nah, I've got to go. So he kept coming and I kept pushing up. And then we got up to the top and I got up to this last bend. And it's a deep bend with a whole lot of timber in it, a whole lot of structure
Sure.
on deep end and really shallow sand flat that runs into it from one side. And then after that, it's just really shallow now. I mean, like 4 to 6 inches deep. And then just with some odd logs here and there, an electric fence that goes across it.
An electric fence.
Yeah, there's it looked like a bit of a temporary electric fence that goes up because it looked like all the cows are in calf and he'd set it up to divide them all and do all that sort of thing, whatever the farmers do. So I just pushed up there, sat there, and Paul came up beside me and we had a gentleman's agreement. And I said, look, I'm going to concentrate on here. He said, we're going to have a quick look up there. Found the fence and came back. And then he said he'll fish his way back. So my plan was stay up there. And while he was up there, that's where I got my first little fish that was still in the bag.
Okay.
So I was just chucking one of those new Nomad shrimps.
Oh, yeah.
And I was using a weedless Gamakatsu hook, essentially like how I bass fish with soft plastics on the edge under timber, and came up tight. I used it's like a lead weight or a minor tungsten that you push a wire through, and then you put the hook on, push the wire through the hook, push the lead in, and then tie a thing on it. So it moves a lot freer, but it's a little bit closer than a snakehead is to the hook.
Okay.
And I got little 1 gram and 2 gram ones. So I used that, chucked it up against the bank, brought it down through, and it was kind of in the middle. There was a mid-water snag in deep water, and it wasn't like a big clunk or anything. And I was fishing super slow. And then all of a sudden I just came up tight on it, and I thought, and it came up, and it wasn't a flathead. It was a brim. And I went, oh, wow. Scooped it up and
This is good.
went, well, I came here to not get a donut. And I thought, well, at least that's it. I'm there. I got one fish.
Yeah.
That's cool. Sat there for a minute, kept casting in there, just working like next meter up, cast a meter further up. Like it seemed like the fish were not really willing to move too much to get anything. And they wanted a really slow presentation. So
yeah.
So did that. And then Paul came back down, said, there's a fence up there. I'm going to go back down. And I said, well, look, I'll chill here, fish here, you work your way down. And then once he'd gone through, I gave it a little bit of time and then I started going back.
Mm-hmm.
And then by then the sun was up and I was just fishing hard. The shadow lines got really deep and hard. And that's like, I love that sort of bass sort of fishing. And I thought, well, I watched Simon Morley and David Shanahan fish the Bem River round upriver, and I was fishing the flats and getting fish, but they were getting the bigger fish right up in the snags. And I really watched them while they were doing it because it's all new to me, and I couldn't get over how slow and methodically they worked every inch of the snag and getting it in there right in tight and just sitting it there. So I thought, well, I need to do that here. So I just reproduced that.
Okay.
And worked my way back down and just cast into those hard shadows. And it was pretty much like, it's not a lot of real estate. There's a lot of just sand flats and then the odd mid-river snag or a deeper cutout on the edge with some timber coming in. And so I just had it on that. So Paul had gone through them maybe an hour or two before, and then I just worked them. And then I came down to not much further down from that first bend where I got the first one and casting up against underneath a tree where it was a deeper edge and came out tight, and that was the second fish.
Right, okay.
I couldn't believe it. By then I'd changed to a weedless grub in the Daiwa bloodworm.
Okay.
And I used that.
Junkie, yep.
Yeah, the bait junkie, and used that and got it out, and it was a little bit bigger. And I thought, well, that's good. That's 2.
Yeah.
That's better than yesterday. I thought, well, I'll just keep doing that. I just kept doing that all the way down, and there wasn't much fish other than flathead.
Mm-hmm.
And then, worked way down. I had an opportunity to get my third. Lots of small hits from smaller fish in between, when they hit the lure and it buggers up the plastic on the hook, and you go, well, that was definitely a brim hit of nothing, any real size. And then one, I it came further down and cast in underneath a log, a lay down log with a deep shadow line, cast in behind it where it was slightly deeper. And then as I worked it and it came over the stump, over the log, slowly rolled the grub out, and this fish just came out chasing it and swiped it. And I was like,
Right.
"Ooh!" And by then it was like 2 meters away from me. And I thought, gee,
Yeah,
I
right.
must have seen my boat by now, but no. So I just paused. And as the lure sunk, it just came in again, hit it, and swam away. Went to set the hook, set the hook. Well, I thought I'd set the hook, but I think he just had a tight grip on the plastic. And then he just did, they did that little shake, and the plastic just flew out over my head and it swam away. And I thought, that's it.
That's it.
That was
That's
my
it.
chance. That was my chance.
That was your chance. So 3 proper bites for the day, really.
Really, yeah, that was it. And not even the second one was a good hard clunk, that nice
Yep.
rim punk. And I was like, oh, bang. And it came out and did its thing. But everything else was just a really subtle thing. And then that happened, yeah. So, yeah, that was it. Worked my way back down, got to the mouth, and then realized, geez, I don't have much time to get back. So
Yeah, right.
by then the wind was up and it was a bit choppy. And I just punched it back. I think I got back with a couple of minutes to spare. Yeah. And then the word on the street was, geez, that was a hard day's fishing. And I thought it was hard, but I've got 2, so I'm pumped about that.
100%. I was going to say, look, there's, what did we say, 55 donuts on Saturday, and you had not just 1 fish, but 2 fish. So it was a pretty good position. You had 1.01. Where'd that have you? What position
I
were you?
think I was 12th at that stage.
You're right.
Not feeling all that confident because, like I said, there's not a lot of real estate up there, and not seeing that much action up there, I was in 2 minds that night thinking, what should I do? Where should I go?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And in the end, I went up and had a chat to Paul, and he said he was going to go back up there. And I said, you know what? At least I know I saw some other fish there. They weren't big. And I thought, well, at least I know there's maybe 1 or 2 other fish up there I might get.
Sure.
So the decision was made, okay, get out fast again, go 100 miles an hour, get up the front. But this time it was just go straight to that first spot.
Straight to the end.
Basically the last snag that you can get to before you have to go through the electric fence.
Yeah, right. Which seemed a little bit too hard.
I would have done it if it wasn't a comp, because the water up there, I could have left the kayak bike and just waded it and chased bass. It looked beautiful. There were long neck turtles kicking around.
Yeah, right.
But still, like, it was long neck turtles mixed with schools of mullet. There were that many stingrays up there. I couldn't believe it. It was beautiful. I had Mother Nature up there. I had goannas and eagles and cows and everything. It was great.
Yeah, right. Right. How good's that?
Well, that was the good thing. It was peaceful. It was quiet. I didn't have the wind like the guys had in the main lake, and birds chirping. So I thought, well, at least I can enjoy the space I'm in and see what happens. So, yeah.
100%. 100%. That was definitely a standout for the weekend. The weather was pretty amazing.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, tell us about catching some fish up there.
Yeah, so second day came around, shot straight up there. This time, Paul was up there. We had a chat before I got to that snag. I said, look, I'm going to fish that snag. He said, well, look, I stopped at a snag beforehand where I caught that second fish I caught and had a few casts. It turned out that I think that was the spot that Paul had caught one as well on his way back down.
Yeah, okay.
And then I pulled another one out of that. So I got there first, had a couple of casts. He caught up to me by then. And then we had a chat, and thankfully he was a real gentleman about it. He said, well, look, he said, where are you going to fish? I said, I'm going to go up to where I started yesterday where you saw me. He said, okay, I'll fish my way towards it, turn around and go back. And really like a nice, honourable way to go about things. I said, great. And then by then, as I started working out, another cat was coming up. And I thought, oh, God, there's not enough real estate for 3 kayaks here. There's probably only enough for half a kayak, not.
Yeah.
So I just punched it, and he came up and pushed past Paul, and then it got too shallow for him, I think. I chatted to him at the end, and it got too shallow for him. He said it was too shallow, so I turned around and went back. But he was like probably 40 meters from getting to where I was. And
Ouch.
that call, Paul leaving me that snag and him not coming up and disturbing it to try and get past me, was probably the only reason why I caught those fish. Because as soon as I got there, and this time I thought, I seemed to get more action from the shrimp. So I thought,
Okay.
okay. And then by then I had pre-rigged the weedless shrimps on a nail bomb and put a stinger on them. And I thought, well, like, even if the small ones bite and do the mess up, I might just snag one with the stinger.
Might jag a small one.
Yeah, and it might just go legal. So anyway, actually I started with the grub. I put a couple of casts in with the grub into the same spot that I caught the one previously and didn't get any interest at all, nothing. But I just didn't feel right.
Sure.
So then I just changed to the shrimp, first cast with the shrimp, put it in, and it was basically just cast up, hard up against the bank. In fact, the first cast was a dodgy cast. It was about 2 meters short of the bank. And I just thought, I'll go down. I know there's timber down there. I'll just let it sink it down. It's weedless. And I was moving it. Maybe I'd moved the rod maybe an inch, 2 inches.
Yeah.
Pause, long pause, inch, inch, long pause. And then went to move it, came up tight, bang, and just reeled it in.
Wow.
And it put up a little bit of a kink, but I find the larger blacks don't really fight that hard. It's like the mid 30s and 30s that really sort of tear around. So it just sort of came in and I scooped it up and went, gosh, that's the kind of fish I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I just quickly just put it in the live well, turned around, put another cast in deep into it. And I think it was a male. Put another cast deeper in, started working it out. And then again, went to move it, came up tight on another. This one felt heavy. And I was like,
right.
Oh, this feels good. Got it in the net. And when you have that larger fish, that big, and I'm picking the net up, you can feel the weight. And I went, oh my God, I think I've done it. I was like, this is what I came up here for, to get this. And I think it was a big girl, a big female.
Yeah.
She was heavy, really wide across the jowls. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. I didn't even waste time checking measurement. I just put it straight in the well, closed it up, and thought, let's just keep going. Anyway, it was like maybe 10 more minutes of just really picking apart that bend, and then got my third.
Wow.
Just came up tight. It was another male.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't mention it before, but in pre-fish, the one I caught was a male that was milking everywhere.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, well, they're breeding. So that was kind of in my head for the decision-making as well. Okay, they must be breeding, so that's happening. So, yeah. And then, pot went up a little bit, went back down, and then just worked my way back down the river again. It wasn't far from there where I just put I was on one side of the river creek, and on the other side there was just a really long log, probably about 5 or 6 meters long, with a really hard, deep shadow and a bit of a cutout from when the water flows over it and cuts it out a bit. And I just put a really long cast in with the shrimp and just went hop, hop, bang, and got another one. But it wasn't an upgrade. And I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I've got 4.
You've got 4. 4 in a tough comp is pretty good.
Yeah. And then that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I rolled my way back down. I got a couple of hits and another small one. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Okay. And did any of them come on the stinger?
No. They were all on the proper hook, deep down too. Was really to unhook them.
Yeah, so they ate it.
They really ate it. Yeah, they really ate it. When they wanted to eat it, they just ate it. Yeah, but it wasn't that real nice hard clunk. It was just sitting there for ages. I don't know. And you just hit them, and then I did lose a fish closer to the mouth. I actually set the hooks in it. It came out. It looked like it may have been a slight upgrade to the smaller one I had in the bag. So it looked like it might have been maybe a 30 forker or a 31 forker or something. But then as I was finding it was doing that little shimmy shake thing that they do. And after a couple of shimmy shakes, the hook just came out. And I was like, oh, it's happened to me again. And
fair enough.
The mouth came around the corner, put a blade on. And I thought, look, I was really happy because I turned around the corner and I could still see a whole lot of kayaks. Whereas the day before I came out and I could see that there were just all the kayaks were over at the weigh-in. And I thought, oh,
At the bank, everyone
yeah.
had
And I
enough.
thought I could make my way back and fish this blade a bit, caught a couple of flatties and went, let's just get in and see what we've got.
And see where you're at.
It was a shock. It was a real shock because I thought that day really felt like a lot more people were going to find the fish in the deep. I really did think that, but yeah, it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, okay. And one question with the switcher shrimp, what color were you running?
It's the black one with the gold fleck and a little bit of the orange in the
Bit of orange?
belly and orange on the tail.
Yeah, that one's called black and gold.
I think I heard a ABT report.
I'm pretty sure it's just called black and gold.
Black and gold. Okay.
I'm on the Nomad page at the moment. So
yeah, no, I think I remember hearing an ABT report where a boater crew got. I think they were using the Pro Lure shrimp and the other shrimp, and they won or did really well in it. And I thought, well, it works. It's something new and different. I did have the Pro Lure shrimp on as well, but I didn't end up throwing it because it worked. So it's not broke. Let's just keep throwing.
Sure.
No, the way that shrimp, the size of it it's a really beautiful size, and the way it just sort of sinks, and just when you do the light drags, it just sort of moves really nicely. Yeah, it's a great lure.
Yeah, and it got you a nice result.
Yeah, well, I couldn't believe it when I got back, and I was going back, and I knew I was 12th, and I think I passed a couple of boys that were ahead of me, and they said they didn't catch anything, and that went, okay, that's 11. Okay, I'm top 10. That was what I thought I'd get. And then as the weigh-in kept going, and I wasn't paying too much attention to a lot of stuff, and everyone's talking, and obviously when you get there, normally the line, I'm at the back of the line because I'm the last one there, and it's 7 miles long. But I got there, and there was only like 5 or 6 people in the line, and I was like, Jesus, okay, this could look good.
100%. And to put it into perspective, you were more than 400 grams or 300 grams above your next competitor, like fourth place. So you had a nice little buffer there, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that big girl was the other male that was a bit larger. They were nice. I think they were like a 36 forker and a 33 forker or something. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, solid. All right, mate. One last thing with the fishing. One last thing. What sort of leaders were you running up in the creek?
I was using just 4 pounds straight through. I love straight through. I use straight through heaps. I've used it like 2 pound, 3 pound all the time. I love using it. I was using 4 pounds straight through. I think I've got a Fuego 2000, and the rod was the rod. I've got to put a bit of a shout out to my mate Dobbo, who's Vex Performance Lures, who gifted me a rod that he had made up from Steve Duff, a broken bones rod with these beautiful recoil guides and that blank, and it just throws 3, 4, 2 pounds straight through a mile, and it's silent, and it fights fish well. It's great. I love that rod so much. Yeah, that was it. And I love the ease of straight through. I could just, every time I caught a flathead, just cut it, tie it up. I didn't have to think, okay, the leader's too short. I've got to do a knot. I've got to worry about that. It's fantastic.
So good. All right, mate. Third place in the Wallaga round. What did you get to take home? What did you win?
Well, I think it was like $760, which was amazing. That kind of pays for the rounds that I fished, which is fantastic. Oh, man, a lure bag that has the goodies bag that had a whole lot of stuff, some bigger hard bodies that I'm going to bang some big bass on, and a whole lot of nice bait junkie jig heads that are going to be perfect for paddle tail grubs, for paddle tails for the bass as well, and a couple of the anatomic surface black crank. My God, geez, need those. That was perfect. Yeah, a whole lot of plastics that I needed to get, that I've always wanted to get, but I thought, these work. I'll keep using these, but now I've got the ones that I wanted to get before. So it's great. Good prize pack, good that. And word on the street is maybe I made the AC. I'm not 100% sure, But fingers crossed, because that was the goal. The whole goal of the comp was to get there to make the AC. So that was it.
Right. Well, mate, I'm pretty happy to tell you that I'm looking at the Hobie page and it says that you've been bumped into qualification there. So based on the Hobie page, you're in.
How good's that? Like I was like, go down there, die on the sword, and it paid off. So I'm going to miss out on the last couple of rounds with work. So yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So to put that, so Jason had already qualified. He was first. Jamie took the qualification and then you got bumped. You got Jason's spot essentially.
Oh,
How
look,
good's that?
if I stumble and fall and still make it, I'm happy with that.
Very good. Very good. Well, like, one last thing before we shoot off, mate. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, look, first thing I'd like to do, and I said it to him on the day, but I'd like to thank the boys of Hobie because I think they've got a stellar product, and the amount of cats that come and turn up to fish, there's big numbers of boys that come out. And for a lot of people, it's a thing for them to have that long weekend a month to regather themselves, to get clear in the brain, to do that, to catch up with the boys, to have a few drinks and have some fun and get away from family, work, or whatever stress is there. And that aside, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a massive thing to get this happening. And a big shout out to those guys. And they're a lot of fun. Everyone has a good laugh and it's great. Look, I think I'd like to thank all the lure manufacturers. At the moment, they're making lures and things that are just dialed in and fantastic, and profiles that I really like. That I make my own plastics, and a lot of the plastics that are coming out now are the same profiles that I made. So I can put them in the nice floaty material instead of using the old stuff that I use, plastisol that I use, which is great. And I'd like to put a big shout out to my mate Dobbo of X Performance Lures, who hooks me up with this, hooks me up with the rod, with gear. We go out, we do a lot of yellow belly fishing and brim fishing. We have a lot of fun, and he always throws me things to help me when I need blades or anything like that. So it's awesome. So I'd like to thank them as well.
How good is that? How good is that? All right. Well, mate, congratulations. You made the AC. You come third. You got on the potty. Mate, it's been pretty good. Congratulations.
It's been sick. I've been pretty pumped for the last. I haven't had much sleep, with work, but it's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks I know you had a lot going on this week. It wasn't the greatest week to do an interview. I appreciate you making it work. Thank you.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate actually a shout out for you for the podcast too, because I spend a lot of hours with headphones on listening to podcasts and books, and I just sometimes just have your ones on repeat. Just I pick up little things here and there, just little things. People say this, that, the other, and I go, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll try that. I'll think about that. And it's actually helped me a lot with the learning curve of black brim, which is a kind of new thing. I'm mostly yellowfin and that sort of thing. And that's really helped me be competitive when I go down south, whether it's Gympie, Malakuta, Bam. It gives me a starting point, which is great.
Fantastic. No, thank you for that. And mate, I will talk to you again probably in one of the collecting Zooms.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot of fun. People should sign up.
Very good. Thanks, mate. You have a good night.
You too, boss. See ya.
Okay, so coming in second place, we have an angler dropping 3 fish on the Saturday for 1.25, backing it up on the Sunday with 3 fish for 2.35, giving a total weight of 3.6 kilo. And second place, I'd like to welcome back to the Brim Fishing Project, Jamie Cole. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks, mate. It's a pleasure to be back. I didn't think I'd get on this year. Tournament series closing to an end now, and yeah, I didn't think I'd be, but stoked.
Here we are, mate. And look, what's amazing about what you've done, super tough round. You've come from a behind position and jumped up a lot of spots to come in second place, which is pretty great.
Yeah, mate. I did a little bit of a Stephen Bradbury, I guess.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
I tell you what, you would have had to have Jason just absolutely fall over, mate.
Mate, and I knew he was never going to fall over at all.
He nearly won it on the Saturday. Very, very close.
Mate, he could have slept in till probably 10 o'clock and come out and stuck with the one very small fish. I know he got at the start and still won it. Exactly.
But it wouldn't have been as cool.
No, not at all.
Fair enough. All right, mate, let's get into your story. So, mate, is this a new arena? So you've had to do some research. and obviously get down there for the pre-fish on the Friday. Tell us about what you did. Tell us about what you did leading into this comp.
Mate, leading into it, I did what a lot of people do and jumped on YouTube, see what it is about. And there wasn't much, as I'm sure a lot of people listening or anyone who fished it can level with. It was very minimal on WallagaLake. Found a couple of YouTube videos that looked what seemed to be Wallaga. And I reached out to a bloke, sent him a message on Instagram and just said, hey, I'm not looking for any honey holes or anything like that, but just wondering if you can give me a bit of a rundown of what to expect, what sort of like structure and the layout was. And this bloke's name was Josh, and unbeknownst to me at the time, was the manager of Byrne Bait and Tackle.
Right.
Absolute legend, went out of his way to give me everything that he knew on the system, near enough.
Wow.
Which was incredible, for such a small system that holds really good fish. He had no qualms about giving me whatever he knew, which is, I think, a little bit rare these days.
Yeah.
Especially about your local system. But I think he understood that brim fishermen aren't going to come and pillage it and keep all the fish that we catch, especially in a tournament series. So it was very giving with his information. So that helped me a little bit.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't in the plans to stay where I did all weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, stayed there and used a little bit of information that he'd given me about what he does in the system, and managed to piece together 2 bags.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which was just getting 6 fish was a great result in itself.
Yeah. So pre-fish day, I jumped out in the morning, and as I'm sure you and everyone else realised at the start, there were fish everywhere. Whether they were tailor or brim and whatnot was a little unknown. I went over to the pretty much the mouth of, believe it or not, bay they call Fisherman's Bay.
Of course.
Yeah. I looked it up just before the interview and was pretty surprised at that. Yeah,
Right.
went and fished at the mouth of that. I sounded up some fish and thought, they look brimmy. Threw in, banged I think it was like a 26 tipper, so just on legal. Moved on another 100, 150 metres and thought, I'm just going to check again. And sure enough, there goes a 34 tipper.
Yep.
And went another 100 or so metres and did the same again, another 34 tipper. And I thought, all right, I'm going to leave these and I'm going to go for a bit of a paddle. So
So that was early on pre-fish.
Yeah, early on pre-fish. Like as soon as I got out in the water, I smacked 3 or 4 legal brim and I've gone, this isn't as tough as what everyone's saying.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. That should have been time to go home, mate.
you know what? The funny thing is that I'm pretty close with Jason Meach, and I spoke to him on a day and he said, go home. He said literally, get off the water and go home. And I didn't listen to him. I stuck around for probably another 6 hours, was waiting for the wind to come up because I'd been told that you need wind on those edges for them to really fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the wind didn't fire them up, and I went back probably a lot less confident than what I would have liked. And that was my pre-fish. Smashed a lot of flatties, but that was it. I think I followed the western edge up until I was probably in line with the island, and that was sort of enough for me. I was a bit over it by then.
Okay. So basically, pre-fish, you found fish early, and then you persisted for the rest of the day for not very much.
Yep, not a thing other than flathead.
Okay. All right. So in pre-fish, did you find a pattern then with lures?
Mate, all on blades.
On blades?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just taking what I know from my yellowfin down there and threw a blade out thinking that it might be a deeper bite still, and it was.
Right. And which blades are you throwing?
Cookies, stealth blades.
The little stealth blades. How about that?
Yeah, I love them.
Wow. All right. So then basically blades would have been your go-to leading into the comp.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I had a bit of everything tied on still. So a few hard bodies and plastics, whatnot. But blades were what got me fish for most of the weekend.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Let's go into comp day. We had the very narrow gate start,
Yes.
which wasn't my favourite, to be fair. Yeah, tell us how your day started.
Yeah, went through that narrow gate and lost my rudder straight under the 360 as soon as I
No.
turned around. Yep, lost my rudder. I still had the right-hand side one, but I don't know about you, but I always use the rudder under the 360 handle.
Me
I don't
too.
know whether you're saying, yeah, it feels weird to have to use the other one. So lost that straight away, and that was in my head. I'm like, look, I'm just going to stick around here. I'm going to stick to what I know, where I've caught fish. So paddled over to that spot and started fishing. A lot of company. I think everyone realised that they paddled over fish yesterday when they probably shouldn't have. So
Yeah.
a lot of people stuck by in that sort of bay and whatnot. So had a fair bit of company. Didn't last all that long. I think people got pretty sick of it. I mean, throughout that first day, I think I landed maybe 14 or 15 undersized bream.
Wow.
Insane amount. Like so many, like between that 24 and like 25.9 range. It was insane.
And that was all on blades, pretty much?
Yeah, all on blades. I think I may have landed one on a soft plastic and that
Yeah.
was it. So yeah, I went and sat in that bay and kept plugging away. It kept catching undersized brim, and yeah, it wasn't until 10:40
Yeah.
that I caught my first legal.
Okay.
That was when the wind had picked up,
Yeah.
and as I don't know whether you've got your maps up, but as you come out of that little bay I'm talking about, Fisherman's Bay, you turn left. There's a bit of an edge that comes up into like a right angle, I guess, or an L shape.
Yeah.
Yep. And so with the wind blowing on that, I started fishing that edge and probably a little bit off into maybe 3.5 meters. I
Okay.
was going in between that range and the edge, and that's where I caught my fish. I think just the wind blowing up against that edge
Wow.
fired them up a little bit. And I think my first fish on day one would have been a 26 tipper, followed by what did I have? Actually, I think I ended up just having a bag of just squeakers, really.
Wow.
I think it was a 26, and then my biggest one on day one was maybe like a 31 at best.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, just a couple of fish that were just over legal.
Yeah.
And then I went down to where that edge sort of comes around to an L shape and threw a blade hard up against the edge, and I think hooked a 33 tipper, and that was my best for the day.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was day one, pretty much done.
Well, okay. So while you were talking, I actually measured how far that is. You're about 700 meters,
Yeah,
maybe less, maybe 600 meters from the start line, given we started off the beach a little bit.
yep.
So,
Didn't go any further than that point on that edge the whole
wow.
weekend.
Wow. Okay. So you're fishing the edge. Were you sort of fishing that, like you said in the last bit there, like right into the structure and then working it back down the drop off?
Yeah, see, what it was those edges were full of like dead cockle shells,
Hmm.
and it was a muddy edge, and it sort of had muddings through it.
Yeah.
So I thought, there's a good chance that they could be sitting in there. So yeah, I threw in a blade. I guess it's sort of similar to a muss in a way
Mm.
in terms of profile and whatnot. Don't start me on mussing. I haven't gotten that down pat yet, but
Aha.
threw a blade in and hoped that it would replicate a muss. And yeah, they seem to take a liking to Cookie's blades.
Okay. Okay. So basically you would have worked them low to the bottom, like just small hops sort of
Yeah,
thing?
yep. So that's pretty much how I like blading. It's just very, very small lifts.
Yeah.
I found it a really timid bite. I'd do the lift, and as it rested, I'd feel them pick.
Mm.
I just had to keep it moving. And then probably after I felt that first hit, probably on the third hit, they'd usually commit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
very, very timid bite.
And apart from Cookie being a very good looking guy, why are you using his blades?
Mate, I just love the action in them. That they give a really, really good action. Is in like it's just a quite aggressive vibration.
Hmm.
with not much effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the action of them. It's my go-to blade when
Okay.
I just don't like using them on a pre-fish,
Fair enough. And what
especially
about,
with the amount of flathead around.
100%. What about colour? Do you have anything special for the weekend?
It was the Suji prawn that I got most of my fish on. I think I got one, maybe two on pre-fish on his black colour. But then, yeah, I just switched over Suji. I just thought, all right, I'm going to change it up, give him something different to look at. And, yeah, felt very happy to take that.
Very good. So how many legals do you end up with for the day?
4.
4. Okay. Yeah, very cool. On a tough comp, like 4's not a lot,
No.
but in the context of the competition, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. All right. So you paddle back. You would paddle back to the weigh-in, and you hear everyone going, "No, no, I got 1, I got 2." They're getting 3. I think let's have a look at the results. I know overall there was only 2 full bags caught, and they were 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 5 full bags on Saturday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So there you go. And all those people are in the top 10. So I guess that makes sense.
Makes plenty of sense.
All right. Whereabouts were you overnight with your 3 fish?
I had me sitting on 7th overnight.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely not where I expected to be with 1.25, but we'll take it.
Absolutely.
Take it.
All right. And what was your plan going into Sunday?
Look, I thought that people would work it out the second day. You know, people would come back staying in the same accommodation. They'd share a little bit, and I expected there to be some really big bags on that day too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, leading into it, I wanted to go walkabouts until I spoke to Michi, and he sort of settled me a little bit and said, you know, don't leave fish. He said, you got to go out and do the same thing again. And so I did. And I was hoping to get a quick bag so that I could go out and search for some of those giants that Chase was banging, and didn't happen that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I went out there and I got 1 fish really early.
Okay.
28 tipper.
Yeah, good
So
start.
I was okay with that. And then I don't think I got my second until probably 9:30ish.
Okay. So still not too late. Two by 9:30 is pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's just sort of worked that same edge as what I did before, thinking that the fish would be there, and if they weren't there, probably not too far off.
Yeah.
And then the deep bite shut down.
Yeah, okay.
I was sitting out there with Carl and Tony Petty, and it just died.
Yeah.
So I decided to sneak into Fisherman's Bay and just have a look shallow. Went really shallow, right up to the edges. The edges in there were relatively clear,
Mhm.
and I couldn't see any fish in there. Had a few casts, caught a few flathead, couldn't find anything. So I actually went to turn around and leave. And as I've turned around to leave, I've spooked a pretty good brim under my kayak. It actually hit my kayak and shot out. And I saw it, and it was a cracker. And at that point, I sort of realised that, hey, they're not in hard to the edge. They're sitting a bit off. And that was something that Josh from Byrne Bait and Tackle had sort of told me leading up to it. He likes to sit probably 10 to 15 metres off the edge.
Yep.
So, yeah, it all started to add up a little bit. And I decided I'd power pole down in that 700, 800 mil range and start throwing a few casts out. And I threw out a 2.5-inch Seaman grub in gudgeon on a 1/30th jig head. And 2 casts later, smacked an 890 grammer.
Oh, okay. A big upgrade.
Yeah. Well, that was my third. That was my third fish. Yeah, I only had 2 at that point, and I was stoked.
Yeah.
Monkey off the back. I thought that I was going in with 2 bream that day.
Yep.
That was probably around the 11:30, 12 o'clock mark.
Okay.
So I still had a bit of time. Probably half an hour later, I did it again and pulled an 850 grammer.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Kept spooking a lot of brim. I reckon I would have spooked 15 brim in that sort of range over the remainder of a competition.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
I kept moving around the bay and letting edges replenish.
Yep.
And it was almost as if they were moving in from the deep. they'd come up like near my kayak and spook. Then I wasn't moving because I was power poled down, but they were moving up from the deep into the shallows and spooking. So I definitely had a few opportunities that I missed, but just from not setting hooks and paying enough attention, there was a bit of adrenaline going through me after I'd smacked 2 really good fish when I knew it was tough.
Yeah.
So just lapse of concentration, missed them, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't have made any difference.
I was going to say you needed 2 kilo brim to win.
Yeah, I think the lead that Jace had on me was, at the end of the day, was phenomenal. It was still high 2s, I think he had on me. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he's like 2.79, I think.
yeah, I would have needed a massive bag. And look, I've seen evidence of monsters in there, plenty of 1.7 to 2 kilo brim around. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it would have taken a lot to hook something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say for you to win, you would have needed a 5 kilo plus bag. So probably not happening.
Probably not.
Fair enough. But mate, what a cool story. Tell me about leaders and stuff and lines and all that sort of stuff for this weekend.
Yeah, look, I run Daiwa Expedition braid in 8 pound as my braid, and to be honest, I couldn't tell you exactly what leaders I was using. I run Chinook Harris usually in 5 pound. I thought with it being a bit of a tougher bite down there this weekend that I'd tie on a couple of 4 pound in the black stream.
Sure.
So could have been either one of those two.
Yeah.
And then in terms of rods, I was running the Daiwa Infeet SK 722 LRS for the blades. And then for the plastics, I was running the Daiwa Infeet EX 712 LFS.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
They were the 2 rods that did the damage over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a cool story. So to sum it up, you ended up with most of your fish, at least in the early part, on Cookie's blades.
Yep.
And then rolled over to a Z-Man grub in gudgeon. But what sort of weight were you running?
1/30th.
1/30. So okay, so pretty light. So they would sink pretty slowly on that.
Yeah, they were, but I guess being in relatively shallow water, it was okay.
Yeah. Does that mean so? In terms of fishing that over that flat, what was your retrieve?
I sort of varied it a little bit. I was going in between like a 1 or 2 hop to almost like a shake and bake.
Yeah.
And I found that they probably hit it more on the quicker retrieve.
Okay.
Yeah, which is probably surprising considering how tough it was. But yeah, they definitely didn't mind a bit of action in it. I'd give it a good sort of shake and twitch back and let it sit for a little bit and go again.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, mate, absolutely fantastic result. Tell me, for second place, what do you get to take home?
I got the very, very nice little park, second place park, an AC spot.
AC spot winning.
And lastly, $1,170.
Very nice.
And a little lure prize pack.
Yeah, which are always very cool as well.
Yeah, very cool. I only went down there really to get rid of a poor result at BEM and have walked away with a AC qual, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, AC qual, probably good part of your weekend paid for.
Yep.
And yeah, and one of those trophies. So I'm a bit jealous of that.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I'll be looking at that for a long time.
Very good. Very good. All right, mate. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, look, you for starters. Obviously,
thank you.
The podcasts, and then probably more importantly, the collective.
Okay.
I've grown so much as an angler this past 12 months from the challenges that you've run, the help from a lot of experienced anglers that jump on there and help out, and then just the people that are learning with me, sharing their information.
Yeah.
As the challenge goes on, it's been really important.
Tell us, what challenge are we doing at the moment?
We're doing a grub challenge. Yeah. So it worked out really well. All throughout this winter, I've been throwing grubs in amongst racks. So when I found out that they were clued into a grub bite, I'm like, oh, this is unreal. This has played right into my hand.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and then James from Hunter Water Sports, Chris, team at Hobie, for keeping me on the water. I use my kayak a lot, so I've always got my fair share of maintenance that needs doing, and they're always awesome when it comes to that. And then, yeah, just a close group of mates that have helped out throughout the way, helping me and teaching me things. Carl, Richard, Michi, they're all great mates, and yeah, have been instrumental in my development over probably the last 2 years of bream fishing.
Very nice, mate. Well, mate, that's a cracking result. Congratulations again. And, mate, I will talk to you soon, probably in the collective, I'd say.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
No worries. Well done.
Take it easy.
Okay, so up next in first place, I have an angler dropping 3 fish for 3.50, backing it up with an almost 3 kilo bag of 3 fish for 2.91, giving a total bag weight of 6.41 and a win by a whopping 2.81 kilos in front. With me, I have Jason Marshall. Welcome back, mate.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Mate, what a cracking win.
Yes, I've been chasing a win for a while now, so yeah, and to do it in that style is pretty special.
I think so. I think, mate, you're only 100 grams or so, and you wouldn't need to fish on the Sunday.
Yeah. So there's never no doubt. Always fishing Sunday, mate.
Fair enough. All right, mate. Mate, I'm still blown away by it in all honesty. So
yeah.
All right, mate. Let's get into people have been talking to me all day. I can't wait to find out what happened.
Yeah.
Tell us about leading up to the comp. What'd you do?
So leading up to the comp, just like looking at Google Maps and stuff like that, like for the comp. Just obviously never been to the lake before, haven't done much down south. I've done a little bit of chasing the blacks now through BAM and Malakuta and that, and still learning, obviously.
Mm.
Yeah, not a great deal, just sort of Google Maps, and Corey Lean sent me some maps off the Garmin, Garmin map.
Like screenshots?
Yeah. So just off the lake, nothing that sort of didn't really stand out towards Google Maps. But yeah, just sort of picked an area that I sort of liked, and that was the game plan.
Okay. And in terms of lure choice and all that sort of stuff, what were you taking with you?
So obviously it started with surface, as it's getting towards that time of year. I wasn't 100% certain on surface because it is still a little bit cold, but yeah, bent minnows, cranks, shallow cranks, medium, grubs, sprats, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so all your normal sort of stuff.
With not being a lot of structure down there, which is what I normally fish, like bridges and pontoons and that. I did have crabs and that with me, but I didn't tend to throw a lot of them.
All right. Well, then talk us through. We left on Friday morning, beautiful conditions, stunning conditions.
Yeah.
How'd you go find and fish on pre-fish day? Did you get some?
No, I didn't do a pre-fish.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I thought sometimes I'd just like to go out there and stick to the plan that I sort of get in my head, and yeah, I didn't end up doing a pre-fish.
Well, there you go. Well, you can take it from the way I introduced that. I actually didn't know that. So your first cast on that waterway was Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, yeah.
All right. Let's talk through that. Tell us a bit about how your day started and how you went about catching a massive bag on any system.
Yep. So normally I'm first out the gate, but this year, this comp, because we had to do a U-turn, I thought, no, it's going to be pretty gnarly. So I sort of sat back and just let everyone get through and poked on out, because obviously I didn't do a pre-fish. So I was just going to poke around in my spot where I was going to start. Seen a lot of guys in that main basin, in that main area at the start, paddle very far, and they'd started fishing like place like Tony Petty, and I thought, there's obviously fish around close here for Tony to stop and start fishing straight away. But I had a couple of casts, and I just pedalled on and sort of poked around to where I thought was going to be where I'd fish. Worked a few edges on the way, because obviously never been there before. So I got into Long Bay And that's where I picked up my first fish, but it was only like 26 and a half, 27. So it was only just, but
Okay.
it was a start. And then fished around in there for a couple of hours for nothing. Like just spooked a few good fish, like on the edges. Like the water was crystal clear.
Yeah. Okay.
After a couple of hours of spending in there with no more results, I decided to go out into the deep and throw some blades and stuff like that, and made my way up to the island
Oh yeah.
and started throwing some shallow cranks around there, and ended up picking up another one pretty much the same, about that 26 and a half, 27.
Okay.
And then worked my way around the island, and then I was talking to Jack, and I was talking to him for about 5 minutes, and after that the wind picked up, and I thought, I'm going to go back to where I started, because now that wind's pushing straight into that long bay.
Mm-hmm.
And this was probably, it's getting on, it's probably about 11:30.
Yeah.
So Pope was about 11:30 by the time I got back in there, and the edge had dirtied right up just from that wind blowing along the bank.
Okay.
And I could see fish like almost tailing out of the water. Like, wasn't sure they were brim. I thought they may have been mullet.
Yeah.
But I tied on a bent minnow again and put it in front of one and just let it sit, like literally just let it sit there for 15, 20 seconds. And that's when the first one come. He just come up from underneath it, kissed it, and that was the 133. Like,
That was your biggest fish.
that
So
was
you
the biggest fish, yeah.
filled your bag, dropped it like a kilo and a bit
Yeah,
on a bent that you didn't move.
that I didn't move, just come straight up underneath it and just went, thank you.
Wow. Okay. What color?
It's got the pink top with the white.
Oh yeah, yeah, like a
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it's called.
like a salmon color sort of thing.
Yeah, yep. You, it's a wonder you didn't hear me. So then I thought, yeah, beauty, I've got three. Like, I've got three and I've got a kicker.
Yeah, exactly.
I've moved up along the bank and I could still see fish, not so much tailing, but I could see that they were there, like they were making movement in the water. Threw another couple of bents, another couple of casts, then moved along a little bit and same thing, just threw that bent right up in tight, let it sit, and bang, got another one, about a kilo.
Right. Okay. So you got two kickers now.
So now I've got two kickers, yeah. So out with one squeaker, and yeah, I thought, yeah, beauty. And it was only a few casts later that I got the third.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, sweet. Like, this is what I've heard, like I've heard rumours about some big fish down there, and they're all down the South Coast.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, out. I didn't even use the scales. So I was like, out with the other squeaker. And I was like, yeah, that's got to be close to another kilo. So roughly, I didn't realise the big one was 133. I was sort of thinking I had sort of 27, 28, like,
Sure.
but I very underestimated what I had. So
Yeah. 100%.
after that, I really sort of slowed up a bit. I thought, like, I don't want to hook any more fish with what I've got. Like, I need to preserve that bay
Sure.
for Sunday. So, because I thought it's with that quality of fish, for me to upgrade is going to be, it's going to be massive. Like, it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I left it alone. I just sort of sat around there, not protect the area, but like just sat around there and made sure my fish were healthy, and yeah.
That sounds pretty good. And I'm sure you would have heard from anyone the Friday pre-fish was pretty tough as well. So you would have known there was not a lot of fish.
Yeah, not a lot of fish, but I did hear a couple of guys did get some good fish about that, like 2 fish for 3 kilo, and I was like, yeah, like they're in there.
Yeah. And in terms of the bay that you were fishing, do you think the difference with that was just the fact that it was turned up with that bit of wind on the water?
Yeah, 100%. Like when I was in there earlier, the water was crystal clear. You could see all the cockle shells. You could see you see pretty much everything. And I was when I spooked the first one, I actually stood up and just had a really good look around, like, and couple of casts and just slight movements, like they were spooked, like.
Yeah, right.
So I 100% believe that wind that picked up and dirtied that water, give them some cover, and yeah.
Fair enough. And mate, and we went back to the weigh-in, and we were greeted with, myself included, by 55 anglers with donuts.
Yeah.
And then you dropped 3.5 kilos on the scale.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's like you couldn't wipe the smile off my face.
was there any, I don't know how to put it, was there any guilt in the fact that everyone had struggled so much and you donged them?
Look, maybe a little, but like there's times where I've struggled so much, and I've watched people come in, and it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Like, so, but yeah, I guess it was my time, you know.
Oh yeah, it really was. And yeah, I remember speaking to you after the day, and I was like, I can't ask you what I want to know what you did, but I can't ask.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, all right. So we roll into the Sunday. Now the wind prediction for the Sunday was 1 knot.
Yeah, it was predicted to come about the same time, probably a little bit later, but not as much.
Yeah.
So my plan was to go straight back to Long Bay. Obviously, there's fish in there, and I thought I don't really need to leave fish to find fish. Like, hopefully, like, there's still fish in there. Got there pretty much. I got it from the start. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not waiting today. I'm first out. Like, I'm going.
Yeah, right.
See you later.
Yep.
Pedaled straight over there, straight up with the bents, but yet again, the water's so clear, like there's just almost glassed out.
Mm.
Fished bents for probably an hour and a half.
Yep.
But no result. And then switched. I thought I had a baby vibe on, black baby vibe, and I thought I'll just step out into the middle of the bay, like into that 3.5, 4 meters.
Yeah.
And picked up a small fish about that 27, and I thought that's pretty much the same start as yesterday, like the small fish early.
And at that point, you didn't know, but you'd already won.
Yeah. So I pursued like in the deep there for a little while, and then went back to the edges. I went back to I think it was a hurricane grub, description in, it was like an olive green.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And started working edges, and then just kept working along the edge, but not casting to the bank, like casting along the bank.
Okay.
And didn't get anything. And if I didn't get anything, and I'll move out, a meter. So sort of that, just getting that little bit deeper each time,
Yeah,
just working the
change the
same
depth.
bank. Yeah.
And were you basically then just letting the grub go to the bottom and then
Yeah,
bounce?
just go to the bottom and just sit there, and not even like, not the usual lift, let it sit. It was very subtle, like literally just a slow lift just to get that grub off the bottom and just let it sit back down. Like it was painfully slow, but I found that's where the bites were coming from.
Right.
So I ended up getting my first basically kick a fish for Sunday on the grub, just by working pretty much the same spot, but just kept moving out.
Yeah.
Till I found that edge where they were. And like I just said, like it was so slow. Like each cast was probably, could go up to 3 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
And it's like it was just let it sit there, just a slight lift, let it sit back down, slight lift, let it pause. It was painfully slow.
And for you to do that, you must have had some confidence that the fish were in the area.
Yeah, well, like when I seen the fish on the Saturday, they were good fish that I spooked, and I thought then they're not the only fish that are in this bay.
Yeah.
The ones that I can see.
Sure.
So yeah, where I seen them, that's the area I worked. I worked probably if I said a football field, it's probably too much.
Okay.
And just kept working it and working it and working it. Ended up getting 2 fish on the baby vibe.
Yep.
Because after I got the one on the grub, I sort of kept working. I went back to the baby vibe after a little while, like no success on the grub, and sort of got back to that deeper water again. And it was the same with the baby vibe, like let it sit, just that slightest lift, just to get that baby vibe just to flutter, just that tiny little bit, let it sit back down.
Yep. And then pause it for?
And pause it for 10, 20 seconds, have a drink, and then just slight lift again. I found when I was working really quickly, there was just nothing.
Yeah.
I think, I spoke to Chris Bennell, I think that was the standout, that it was just so slow. So I even put Netflix on there at one stage to try and take my focus off working really quickly.
Sure.
So not that I was watching it and listening to it, but it broke that, I've got to work that lure,
Yeah.
type thing.
And what did you watch?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you now.
Fair enough.
It was just to break that, rather than sit there watching the line. Well, obviously you're watching the line, but it was just so slow.
Yeah, wow.
But so slow but productive.
Yeah.
So I got 5 fish on Saturday and I got 5 fish on Sunday.
Right.
Amongst that's brim, amongst a few flathead.
Yeah. So you got the little one first, then got a kicker.
Yeah.
And then
got another kicker on the back. So I got a kick. First one come off the baby vibe. Then the second one come off the grub.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got another one back on the baby vibe, doused with a mixture of dizzy scent.
Yep.
So I've got a tube there it's not just triple X, it's a mixture of all the stuff I've just put into one tube. And
sure. And it's
yeah. So also got one on the Hobie crank.
On the new one?
The Atomic, yeah.
On the Atomic?
Yeah, yep.
Wow. Was that a kicker?
It was a good fish, but it wasn't in the bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was in the bag to start with, but it got upgraded.
Got sent home. And was that because you were fishing parallel to the bank in probably a bit deeper water, was that casting back into the shore and coming out at an angle?
No, just along the bank.
Right.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So most of the fish, except for the bents, were along the bank. The bents were straight into the bank.
Yeah.
Right up on the edge. But nearly all the other fish were along the bank, working along it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How are you feeling at this point? You've got a good lead. You must have known, I've probably got this.
When I got the third fish, and then, it was my aim was to get at least 2, just to really sort of feel that it's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
But you just never know. You just, the old saying, you can't win at day one.
That's right.
You just never know.
Yeah.
Someone potentially could come in with 3.5 kilo fish.
Yeah.
They're there. So, yeah. Until you get back into the bank and you start talking to people and the ones that are still up there. Yeah. So I still now it's in disbelief, I think. I'm still sort of taking it all in.
Yeah, well, mate, it was a pretty fan. Any win's a good win, but that's an amazing, dominant win.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the fishing, it feels to me like your approach, the super slow approach, was probably the key that separated you from other anglers.
Yeah, yep.
Picking a bank that you kind of really felt there was brim on based on seeing them and then catching some.
Yeah, yeah. I think on the Saturday, that win was the key. That dirty the wind blowing along that edge where I'd seen fish like 2 hours before, that was the key for Saturday. Like that was, yeah.
Yeah. And then on the Sunday, obviously the slow approach.
Yeah, the slow approach on Sunday, because that breeze just didn't come. But I actually had my fish earlier on Sunday than I did on the Saturday. So I think if I hadn't have left Long Bay and gone out, I probably I probably got fish in there? I probably think so. Like I probably would have changed up what I was doing and sort of slowed it up. And after seeing those fish, so but not knowing, I come out and potted around there for a bit, like finding fish on the sounder, but just nothing to take.
Yeah. All right. In terms of leaders, what did you run for the weekend?
Running 6 and 8.
Okay, so not super light.
Yeah, no, not super light because I didn't know the area. I didn't know really what sort of to expect on the day. So
Yeah.
Obviously looking at Google Maps, there's no solid structure like bridges. Oh, there's a bridge, but
Yeah.
yeah, like pontoons and boats and all that sort of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I really sort of had focused on that edge, looking like at the maps.
Yeah. And I mean, with that sort of structure, you probably got to be a bit unlucky for them to get you on something, and they're probably going to bust 4 the same as 6 or 8 anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very good. All right, mate. Is there anything else that we should discuss about the fishing before we move on?
When's the next round at WallagaLake?
Well, I'm told it's on the calendar, so stay tuned.
Yeah, look,
It's funny.
There's probably a lot that don't want to go back there. I mean, obviously, I want to go back there.
Yeah, of course. You'll be first on the list.
Yeah. Do I do that good next time? Who knows? Like it's fishing, mate. Like you just got to work it out, and some days you can, some days you can't. Like,
yeah, it was definitely your day.
I'm a big believer of when it's your time, it's time to shine. Like it just all comes together.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Let's move on then. Then in terms of prizes, what do you get to take home for first place in this one?
2,250, I believe.
Very nice.
So, and Big Brim was 250 for the Anaconda.
Yeah.
A St. Croix rod.
I see you got a rod as well.
Yeah, St. Croix rod, yeah. And bag full of tricks like hurricane lures. Yeah, some TT stuff. Yeah, there's a few goodies in there.
Very good. Very good. I know the prize bags are pretty exceptional.
Yeah. I think there was a couple of vouchers in there for Anaconda too. So I think it ended up being like $350 for Anaconda. So
very good.
yeah.
Yeah. How good's that?
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. All right, mate. Look, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, where do I start? Obviously Hobie. They always seem to run a pretty good show. All the guys out there that are on the water, that I know there was a lot that struggled on the weekend, but they persisted and didn't come back early on the Sunday. Like they stuck it out. So, like
This is true.
heads up, like it's the saying, and you never give up. Like, and like I think you on Sunday ended up with 2 in the last, just in that bay.
That's right.
Like you just got to keep pushing forward. So hats off to all the guys out there. There's been a few guys message, I won't go individually, but just that have reached out to me in the last couple of days to congratulate me, and you can't thank people enough. Like it's what makes the comps. So
exactly.
The guys here in Tamworth at Tamworth Fishing Tackle, like the guys are, like they're not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but they always sort of look after me through getting gear and reels and rods and all that sort of stuff. So if you're ever in Tamworth, Tamworth fishing tackle. They got heaps of camping gear and stuff like that. So
Yeah, very good.
Fishing.com, James. That's about all I can think of off my head. So,
very good, mate.
But
very
yeah,
good.
like shout out to all the guys out there. You know, like I know there's a lot of top anglers out there, and for me, coming from Tamworth and being 4 hours from the coast, to be up there amongst them, like, yeah, I hold my head high. Like, so
As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think people respect that, and people were pretty happy to see you win, and the dominance in which you did it. People were happy about that. In tough conditions, mate, you pulled in one of the biggest bags.
You know, like, without them top guys out there, like, I learn off them every comp, you know, like just by chatting, like different techniques, different stuff, different lures, like, so.
Yeah.
And your podcast.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
How could we forget?
Very good. Very good. All right, mate. Listen, it was a cracking win. I'm really, really happy for you. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you at the next round and can catch up there.
Yeah, will do, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there you have it. So I've told you what the winners have done, and we've talked to the anglers. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. So I had the Friday off. I went down there. Beautiful conditions. It was so nice to get down there and not have any pressure, and the food was there. There was no driving. Absolutely wonderful. Went out for a pre-fish. Did not catch a brim. I think I hooked one and dropped it, but that was it. I did see a brim. Did see a couple of brims swimming, and that was going to be my plan, but it didn't play out that way. So rolling into the Saturday, I downsized all my leaders to the lowest I had on the day, which was only 4 pound. If I had 2 pound, I would have put that on. Saturday, I couldn't manage to jag a brim. I tried. I got a bunch of flathead. I don't even think I missed a brim. So I came back and I was part of the 55 donuts. Sunday was looking very much the same. I actually traveled straight to the point where I saw some brim the first day, and I thought, yep, okay, I'll give this a shot. I missed one fish on a little shallow running crank, and that was it until about midday. I had to duck back into the campgrounds, go back to my car for a second. I thought, that's all right. I'll just drift up the bay. The wind was blowing straight up the bay away from shore. And I pushed off, and within 2 casts, I had my first fish on a black bivvy vibe with an orange belly. A couple of minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later, or 15, I'm not sure, I jagged number 2, and that was it. But I ended up with 2 fish, which put me in 27th place with my 740 grams, I think it was. So that was my day. So really tough comp. I was super happy to get the 2 fish, even though it took me 2 days, and then I was in the last sort of hour and a half of the comp before I could catch a fish. But it shows that, persistence is good. And I'm hoping that will be enough. That result, those 2 fish will be enough to bump me up into qualification for the AC. So, yeah. All right. In terms of Hobies, we just got the 2 rounds to go, which may already be run by the time this comes out. But we've got the Baril round, which is just a 1-day event, no pre-fish. And then, of course, St. George's Basin on the long weekend of October. All right. Actually, there's one more thing I want to say is that 2 out of the 3 guys in the top 3 are part of the collective and regular contributors. So I think that's pretty cool. If that's something you want to have a look at, jump over to brimfishingproject.supercast.com, get yourself signed up. We've got some amazing things that are coming up. Yeah, so come be part of it. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week on the Brim Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.